You see a lot of guys trying to build a V taper by hammering out endless pull-ups. But if you only focus on getting a bigger back, you don't actually get a V. You end up with a wide, blocky shape. A true V taper is a mathematical ratio, the horizontal distance across your shoulders compared to the width of your waist. Achieving this look depends on specific proportions, not raw mass. 3 parts control this: wide lats, capped side delts to stretch the frame, and a tightly controlled waist. Today, we are going to fix the mechanics for all 3 of these areas. By the end of this video, I will give you a complete 2-day workout plan you can use whether you're training in a fully equipped gym or right at home. You need all 3 parts working together to make the ratio work. If your lats grow but your waist expands too, the visual taper disappears. Let's start with the first part of the ratio. This diagram isolates your latissimus dorsi. These broad muscles on the sides of your back act as your wings, creating the outward sweeping flare that forms the sides of the V. Most guys already train these, but they do it incorrectly. They grab the pull-up bar, yank with their arms, and let their shoulders roll up toward their ears, turning a back exercise into a heavy biceps curl that leaves the lats out. Look at the scapula in this wireframe. Lats only grow when you depress your shoulder blades first. Pull your shoulders down before your arms bend. Then drive your elbows down and back toward your pockets. This trajectory forces lats to do the heavy pulling. To maximize this width, you need to execute vertical pulling movements. Wide grip pull-ups and lat pull-downs are your best options in the gym. If you're at home, you can use straight arm pull-downs with a resistance band or towel rows secured to a sturdy table. Prioritize pulling the weight down from overhead rather than doing heavy horizontal rows. Heavy rows build back thickness, which is great for overall strength, but thickness does not contribute to the visual width required for the V shape. This overlay isolates the lateral deltoid. It sits right on the outer edge of your shoulder joint. Think of this muscle as the frame. It caps the shoulder and establishes the absolute top horizontal width of your ratio. When most men think about shoulder training, they focus on heavy overhead presses or push-ups. Those movements heavily work the front deltoid. The problem is, the front delt is already overworked from pressing, and it adds 0 lateral width to your frame. You have to train the side delts directly with lateral raises. You can use cables, dumbbells, or even heavy water bottles. Do 20 to 30 controlled reps. Lead the upward movement with your elbows, slightly forward of your body, and keep your traps down so you aren't shrugging the weight up. Even with perfect side delts, your daily habits might be hiding your progress. Sitting at a desk all day causes your shoulders to round and roll forward. This physically collapses the shoulder joint, artificially narrowing the frame you already possess. Watch the posture change here. Roll those rounded shoulders back and down, and stack your rib cage directly over your pelvis. Your shoulders immediately look wider. Isolating the lateral head of your shoulder and fixing your posture act together as a visual multiplier. They stretch the upper frame outward, making the lat wings you just built appear significantly wider. Now we reach the third part of the equation, the one almost everyone gets backwards. Most guys assume that doing more core training will automatically tighten up the bottom of the V taper. In reality, the way they train is actively destroying it. The primary culprits are heavy-weighted side bends and heavily loaded oblique exercises. You need to pull these out of your routine entirely. Heavy oblique resistance thickens your midsection, straightening your V shape into a wide block. Instead, train deep core bracing with hollow body holds and posterior pelvic tilts. This engages the transverse abdominis, acting like a corset that pulls the waist in tightly. Controlling the waist measurement happens in the kitchen. You have to drop your overall body fat by staying relatively lean year-round. It is physically impossible to out-train an expanding waistline. Shrinking the bottom half of the ratio reveals the taper as much as growing the top. It requires restricting the waist while building the lats. Let's put these 3 parts into a simple mathematical 2-day split that you can start running this week. Day 1 focuses on width. You will do 4 sets of wide grip pull-ups, followed by 3 sets of cable or straight arm pull-downs to isolate the lats. Finish the session with 3 heavy rounds of farmer's walks and 3 sets of hollow body holds for deep core control. Day 2 builds the frame and tightens the waist. Run 4 sets of lateral raises, either with cables or dumbbells. Follow that with 3 sets of rear delt flies and 3 sets of band pull-aparts to correct your posture. End the session with 3 sets of strict hanging knee raises. Run each of these days twice a week. Combine that execution with strict dietary discipline to keep your body fat low, and your waist measurement will slowly come down. If you want the full PDF version of this workout plan in our next video, drop a comment with V+ and tell me which muscle group you've been neglecting the most. Building a real V-taper requires you to stop chasing a generally bigger body. You have to start intelligently shaping your physical proportions with intention.